Good morning, guys. Jess here to talk to you about Road Warriors programming for week 4, day 1. So we're in the 4th week of this cycle. Today, before we get started with our running work, we've got a little pre-warm-up, kind of joint prep work. We're going to start today with some rocks. So our feet are going to be about hip width apart. If you're wearing shoes or not, depends on if you want to do this at home before you get outside. That's great. I like to do something like this kind of barefoot where you can really try to spread your toes apart as wide as possible here. But if you're in your shoes outside, then that's great too. You can still get the benefit from here, feet about hip width apart, you're just going to shift forward onto your tiptoes and then rock back onto your heels. So we're shifting forward and back, coming again all the way onto your tiptoes and then leaning back onto your heels. 10 of those, forward and back. When we're done with that, we're going to come down to a quadruped position. So from a hands and knees position, I'm going to tuck my toes under. So again, if you're barefoot, you might get a little bit more stretch here. If you're in your shoes, that's totally fine. But quadruped position here. I'm then going to sink back, keeping my toes tucked. Just get a little stretch here through the calves, maybe through the foot. Then I'm going to shift forward, flip onto the tops of my feet, and then sink back to get a little shin stretch as well. So that is 1 rep. I'll then shift forward, come back, tuck my toes back under, sink my butt back, kind of sit back on my heels, hold for a count or 2, maybe even kind of shift a little side to side, shift forward, then come back onto the tops of my feet and sink back here. If you need a little bit of stretch through your upper back too, you can definitely come down into kind of like a little child's pose position here. But 1 rep of this is sinking back with toes tucked under and then onto the tops of your feet, right? So we're doing 4 reps of those total. When you're done with that, we're going into just a little quadruped hip cars. So back from that hands and knees position, hands right underneath the shoulders, knees right underneath the hips. We're going to bring 1 foot, so say my left foot is facing you guys. I'm going to bring that left knee up towards my chest. Then kind of fire hydrant it up and out with control, bringing it, keeping it high, elevated back, down, and then back in. So these are controlled movements, trying to hit each kind of corner or box here, corner of the box as you go through, instead of just really fast kind of hip circles, right? So you're going to do 4 in one direction and then 4 in the other direction, and then you'll switch sides and do 4 on your other side and each direction as well. So that's just your little prep, only 1 time through those 3 movements just to start to get your joints loose and ready. Then we've got our real warm-up. So with this warm-up, we're looking for 3 times through, 5 each forearm to instep. So you're going to bring 1 foot outside, bring that same side elbow down in, and then you can add a rotation here, right? So we're doing 5 of those on one side, 5 on the other side. Then we'll take it into a bootstrap with a bootstraps with a rotation if you want to add another rotation here. So I'm going to hinge at the hip, come down, pull down, grab my toes, come down. If it feels good, maybe I plant my right hand. I'm going to rotate out, plant my left hand, rotate out, come back in, hips come up high, and then stand. That's 1 rep. If your hips are a little bit tighter still and you just want to hang out at the bottom of that bootstrap, you can shift a little side to side. That's absolutely acceptable as well. You know your body, you know what you need. After that, the final bit is coming back to our quadruped position, back to our bear plank. So from here, toes are going to tucked under, but now we're going to hover our knees up, and then we're going to take it into shoulder taps. So alternating arms, opposite arm, opposite shoulder as you come through. So we want to try to avoid a whole lot of hip shift that happens in that. So you might need to widen out your feet just a little bit for those bear planks, shoulder taps. That's absolutely okay, obviously. So that's your warm-up. You're doing 3 times through on that warm-up. Now for your running work today, we're doing 5 rounds of, it's going to begin with a 550 meter run. So for most of us, that's 1 block one lap around a block of your choice. Then you're gonna come right into 20 alternating reverse lunges and 10 push-ups. You'll then rest 1 minute in between rounds and repeat. So with this work, before I demonstrate the movements, we've got a 550-meter run. Again, 20 alternating reverse lunges and 10 push-ups. This is kind of similar to a workout that we've done before, but instead of the continuous pace, I'm giving you 1 minute of rest in between because I do want the intensity to be a little bit higher than what we've done, but still being able to maintain your nasal breathing. I apologize if you guys hear the dogs barking in the background. I still want you guys to be able to maintain nasal breathing, but still kind of crank the intensity up just a bit. That minute is just enough time to allow you to push a little bit harder. It's obviously not the 3 minutes rest that we've been seeing on Thursdays. So challenge yourself a little bit more, but not going all out, and with the goal of still trying to have consistent split times for each of these 5 rounds. All right, so for the lunges, we're looking for 20 alternating reverse lunges. So, you guys know, back knee comes down, kisses the floor, you come to standing, and then you switch. Now, if you're lunges are no problem for you. If you want to scale it up and you've got pistols in your deck of cards, then go ahead and change this up to adding pistols. My pistols are not there right now, so I will be sticking with lunges, but that's definitely a scaled up option. For the push-ups, I'm recommending 10 push-ups. So hands just outside shoulder width, tall plank position, coming all the way down till chest touches, driving straight back up, right? If you need to modify, you could do maybe a switch push-up, which means that you would control yourself all the way down, maybe drop to the knees, and then press up. If, however, even that's not manageable, then you can definitely stay to the knees, keeping your belly tight, chest touches, driving straight back up. So I don't want to keep my hips piked all the way up as I come down. I don't want my elbows to flare out to the side. So think about elbows at about a 45-degree angle as we get into those push-ups. If push-ups are just not your jam and 10 is just gonna crush you, then scale to a volume that is appropriate for you, anywhere from 5 to 7. If on the flip side, you're a push-up ninja and 10 is like nothing, then feel free to scale up to 15 reps each round. So that's your running work. Again, 5 rounds of a 550-meter run, 20 alternating reverse lunges, and then 10 push-ups. Resting 1 minute in between rounds, a little higher intensity, but consistent split times, maintaining nasal breathing. To cool down, you're gonna finish out with a 3 to 5 minute walk, and then we're gonna accumulate 10 minutes, approximately 10 minutes of couch stretch, pigeon pose, prone scorpion, and a down dog. So couch stretch, you guys know, you're gonna get one knee comes down, that same side foot comes onto the back of your couch if you've decided to go back home. Again, I'm gonna switch legs here. So one knee's down, and then the other leg is just gonna come up here, so nice and tall in this position. Holding at least 90 seconds to 2 minutes on one side, and then I'll switch. If you're doing it outside and you don't have a couch or anything, you can, for one, just stay into this position, or maybe you reach around. I need a little support here to grab that ankle and then come up. That can give you a little bit of a stretch here through that quad, especially if you guys did some pistols too. You want to get into that quad, and maybe even as a bonus too, if you have foam roll your glutes a little bit, that would be great. When you're done with that, we'll get our pigeon pose. So with our pigeon pose, we're gonna look to bring, say, one knee up outside of your other hand, and then you'll sink back here. I like to untuck my back toes. That gets a little bit more of a stretch here. Chest stays up nice and tall. I'll show you from the front here. Chest can stay tall here, or if you're feeling good, maybe you can, and if you've got the flexibility and mobility, you might come down to your forearms, or if you want a little back release too, you might actually try to let your head come all the way down. That'll depend again on where you're at. If this is too uncomfortable, you can even just kind of side saddle it, let your butt come back, and maybe try to work towards squaring your hips a little bit more. Again, you know what your body needs and what your body can do. The prone scorpion is going to be coming from a face down position, you'll tee yourself out to the side, and then you'll just think about bringing your one foot up towards your opposite ankle, or your opposite hand, sorry, your opposite wrist, and then come back to center. So you guys can alternate back and forth, make it a little bit more dynamic if you feel like that's what you need, or you can just kind of come up, hold for a little bit before you switch. And then the final bit is our little down dog. So from here, piking hips up, taking it into a calf march, maybe holding for up, 5 to 10 seconds each side on your calf march, maybe trying to drive both heels down, maybe letting your knees bend a little bit. So moving around with whatever you need there. So as always, just spending upwards of 90 seconds to 2 minutes each side, each leg, each movement on those. That is your running work for today. Let me know if you guys have any questions, and I'll see you guys on Thursday. Thanks, guys.